Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode of Sovereign Lovestream. I have with me here today Xander Panzella, my son.
Hi.
And we are very excited about this special episode. This episode was actually Xander's idea, so I'm going to let him tell you about what he wanted to do with this show.
I just wanted to come on. I don't know why. I thought it would be cool to do a live stream with my dad.
You thought it would be cool to do a live stream with him?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good reason. So in our discussions about what we were going to talk about, we thought it would be good to talk about father-son dynamics of the father-son relationship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a couple of topics. And as always, we just want to say that this show is meant to be like a community experience. We would love for anybody to comment and, interact, ask questions. If you have ideas about what we're saying, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and we might feature the comments on the show and talk about whatever you bring up, right?
Yeah.
We want to have some interaction. We don't want it just to be us talking at you or preaching in any way. We're just here to have a good time and have a discussion about how our relationship is as a father and son. And, hopefully somebody will take something positive away from this. That's right. That's really all we're looking to do, is make the world a better place, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So one of the first topics we wanted to talk about was accountability. Xander, can you tell the audience what accountability is?
Accountability is telling someone if they're doing something wrong, holding them accountable.
Right, exactly. And so one of the things that I've tried to teach Xander, or really the example I've tried to set for Xander, is that accountability is not a one-way street. I think a lot of parental relationships, the parents are holding the kids accountable, but are the parents allowing kids to hold them accountable? That's always something that I felt was really important. So Xander and I have had several instances where I was not acting right. I would lose my temper, and I want Xander to have the freedom to call me out and to say, "Hey, Dad." So we want to talk about one of the examples of one of the times maybe that you would have had to hold me accountable.
Sure.
You could tell the story.
Not really, no.
You don't know?
No, not really.
Well, think about it. What was like a time that I lost my temper?
Oh, okay. So that maybe when we're playing video games, sometimes he gets frustrated if I'm doing something then that he doesn't like, and he yells, and he says I shouldn't do that, and that's what accountability is. No,
but you were holding me accountable because I lost my temper. Here we are playing video games together. We're supposed to be spending quality time together, and look. He's 9, I'm 43. I don't have the skills, the video game skills that I used to have, right, when I was a kid. And he sometimes will run circles around me in these games, and I get frustrated. And so sometimes my temper starts to rise, and then sometimes I snap and I'll scream. And obviously, if we're looking to spend quality time together, as a father, I'm playing video games with my son because I want to have something fun that we can both do together. It doesn't make sense for me to be losing my temper over a video game and screaming at him when I'm supposed to be spending quality time with him, right? So there have been times where if I lose my temper and I scream, Xander can be like, "Hey, Dad, I don't like the way you're treating me. That's not really nice, the way you're treating me." And I'm very happy that he feels like he has that freedom to be able to do that. So that's one of the things that we have found in our relationship, is that accountability is a two-way street. Xander can call me out, and when I'm not being the best or the most patient, the most compassionate person that I could be being, right?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel if we're playing a video game and I snap and I scream at you?
I mean, I know you just lost your temper, but it gets sad a little.
It makes you feel a little sad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and look at this. He's this emotionally intelligent kid. He's like, yeah, I get it. You just lost your temper. But at the same time, nobody wants to be yelled at, right? So, and I appreciate that you can have patience for the fact that you know that I'm an old man and it's harder for me to play video games. But at the same time, your feelings are important. The fact that me screaming at you makes you feel sad, or even if it made you feel angry, that's an important thing too. Your feelings don't need to be put aside because I'm having feelings too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just one example of accountability. But I always try to encourage him to speak up and tell me about his feelings. And vulnerability was another topic that we had talked about that we wanted to talk about, right? Yeah. You want to tell them about what vulnerability is?
I kind of forget.
You forget?
It's being open to share your emotions.
Yes, okay. Absolutely. Being open to share your emotions. That's another thing that I've always tried to impart to you, that I want you to feel open to be able to tell me anything that you're feeling. And the way I did that was by modeling that myself. Xander will be the first one to tell you that I cry a lot. So, right? Yeah. When do I cry?
During movies a lot.
What else? So sometimes when I'm telling you stories.
Oh. Yeah.
Right? When I'm telling you stories, especially about when you were a baby. Yeah, right? Yeah. Am I always tearing up? So I try to model that vulnerability so that I can expect that vulnerability back from him, that Xander can feel safe to tell me his feelings because I'm honest about my feelings. One of the ways that I've done that is I was very open and honest with Xander about, and we've discussed some of these issues that I have had and worked through on this show before, but I was very honest with him about the fact that before he was born, I was a pretty selfish person. I really wasn't concerned with other people or their feelings. It was really just about what was going to make me happy. And that's the way I lived my life. And so when he came along, he changed the way I looked at the world. Having a son really deeply impacted me. And I might start to cry now just talking about this, but it deeply impacted me having a child and being able to relearn about the world through his eyes, watching him learn about the world. It was such a deeply impactful thing for me that it really changed who I was. And I share those things with him. And what do you feel like? What do you feel about the fact that I'm always telling you these types of things and crying when I'm telling you these stories?
I don't really know.
It's okay. Take a minute to think about it. How does it make you feel generally when I'm telling you a story and I start crying because I'm emotional about it?
It makes me feel happy that you're like, I don't know.
Go ahead. Yeah, you're saying it.
Go ahead. That you feel better than you did before I was born.
I mean, I definitely think that when I'm telling him these stories and I start to tear up or I get choked up, he just will come and put his arm around me. Xander understands that my love language is physical touch. And so there's a lot of times when I might be talking about something that I'm getting a little bit worked up about, and he'll just come and he'll put his hand on my arm or my shoulder. And what are you trying to do when you do that?
I don't know. Comfort you?
Yeah, of course. Comfort me. You asking me or are you telling me?
No, I'm telling you.
Okay. Yeah. So vulnerability is another thing. So recently we had a thing where you got out of bed late at night, you couldn't fall asleep, and you came into our room. And what were you saying?
That I was feeling upset.
What were you feeling upset about?
Because one of my cousins has an older brother, and he sometimes makes fun of him, or yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was
I was
upsetting to
feeling
you?
upset about that. Yeah.
And so because you were so upset, you couldn't sleep?
Yeah.
And so why did you come in to tell us?
Because I was feeling vulnerable.
Because you were feeling vulnerable, and you were willing to share with us your feelings so that we could comfort you in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And what did we do? Xander was actually, do you remember what you were actually feeling? It wasn't sadness so much.
It was anger.
Anger, right. So what did we do to help you work through that anger?
Or boxing.
We had a pillow fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we took a few minutes and we just pounded those pillows out to get some of that frustration out, move some of that energy around, right?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
And I felt better.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, good. So there it is. He felt better. I think that's another great tool that we have as adults is healthy ways to process emotions. And we need to be modeling that for our kids because they're not being, they're not going to be taught this in school. So we definitely need to be modeling these things. And, there are plenty of healthy ways. Why don't you grab your cards over there? We have from Awakened Generation, awakenedgeneration.com, I believe. There's this game, and it's kind of a way to help kids figure out what their emotions are and express them. So why don't you show them the cards. Don't put them too close to the camera so that they don't get out of focus. But thank you, Jamie. Look at that comment. We really appreciate you guys commenting. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. So go ahead, show them the card.
I could see it.
Let's see. What does that say? Sing a song.
Sing a song.
So this is a way that you can, one of the strategies for dealing with emotions.
Yeah.
So why don't you read some of them, what they say?
Be compassionate with yourself. Smile for no reason.
That can help shift your mood, right? If you're feeling sad or upset about something and you just look at yourself in the mirror and smile, even if you're forcing it, eventually it'll start to break down the emotion a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Change the energy.
Yeah.
What else?
Hug or snuggle.
That's a good one. That's one of my favorites. I definitely am my love language is physical touch and affection, so I love to snuggle.
Pray.
Pray, that's a good one. Meditation and prayer is an excellent way to deal with some negative emotions, definitely. Some of the times that you're having trouble sleeping, what do?
Pray.
We pray, but what else do we do?
We grow the belly balloon breaths to breathing in and out.
Yep, we do breathing exercises to relax our bodies, calm our energy so that we can peacefully drift off to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What were some of these other the superhero training cards? And I feel like all of these things that we're talking about, they all help to build trust with your kids so that they can feel safe in not just expressing their emotions, but having them to begin with, right? A lot of times our society makes us feel shame about having emotions. Being angry is seen as something you shouldn't do. You shouldn't be shameful. It's shamed to be angry. But being angry is a natural emotion. There's nothing wrong with being angry. It's when we don't express those emotions in a healthy way that it can become a problem, right? So what are some unhealthy ways to express emotion?
Yell and to get angry
not to get angry. Getting angry is okay.
Yeah.
That's a natural emotion. But how was that like an unhealthy way that could come out besides yelling?
To just be mean and not be yourself.
to be mean, if you were to try to hit somebody, right? Like getting so frustrated that you want to hit somebody, that's definitely an unhealthy way. So, we discussed already some of the healthy ways to do that. That game from an Awakened Generation is actually really pretty cool. Not so much even a game as much as it is a tool.
Yeah.
So that if they're feeling frustrated, and you can see sometimes kids have a hard time articulating things, but it comes with a poster, and you can go to the poster and kind of identify what you're feeling, what the source emotion is for what you're feeling, and then use these cards that have these different suggestions about how to deal with that emotion. And these kids can basically learn how to self-source and deal with their emotions even on their own. Do you ever use this when I'm not around, like when you're not, like without telling me?
Sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that. You look at the cards?
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. And I think one of the last things that we wanted to talk about was being present. So for me, one of my big temptations, weaknesses, etc., is my phone, social media. So there will be a lot of times when I'm spending time with Xander, or allegedly spending time with Xander, and I'm scrolling on my phone. And sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. I just kind of out of habit, I pick up my phone. How does it make you feel when we're doing something and I'm on my phone?
It makes me feel sad that, you're not really watching a movie sometimes. We'll be watching.
It makes you sad that I'm not like paying attention to the movie.
Yeah, kind of. And then I'm watching it by myself.
So it makes you feel lonely?
Yeah. Well,
it makes him feel lonely. I mean, let's think about that. We're with our kids and we're scrolling the phones. And that's not to say that there's no appropriate time for us to be on social media. But I think that we need to make a conscious effort for,
to connect with family.
To connect with family. Amen. Absolutely. There needs to be time set aside. So certainly if we're sitting down to watch a movie together, that's not the time to scroll through. I think we should be enjoying the movie together, right? Or maybe not should be, but yeah. I think it would be preferable, and it would make you feel better, right?
Yeah.
You would appreciate the time with me more if I'm paying attention to you, or if we're watching the movie together and talking about the movie or whatever, rather than the movie's on the screen and I'm just like, like a sheeple. He hasn't heard that one yet. Never mind. That's another show. So what else? What do you think about being present?
Just if you're spending time with someone, if you're present.
Yeah, but what's good about that?
To love each other?
Well, it's an act of love, yeah.
Yeah.
To spend time and focus our attention on each other rather than the outside world or what else is going on or what we're missing out on. Yeah, it's an act of love, and we're expressing love to each other when we do that. Yeah. All right. Well, do you have anything else to share?
No.
Let's see if there's any questions. Jamie said he loves the fact that accountability is a two-way street. Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of parents, I don't think they do it intentionally, but I think we just don't even think of it that way, right? I was raised, do what you're told because I'm your parent, right? That's kind of how I was raised. But I've always wanted to take the approach with Xander that I want him to understand why he's being told to do something, right? He understands why he needs to eat his vegetables. Now, he still resists. He doesn't always want to eat his vegetables, right?
Yeah.
But he understands why he should, or why I want him to, at least. I feel like that's how you nurture intelligence and emotional maturity and emotional intelligence, is by explaining. And sometimes I've heard people say that kids don't have the capacity to understand logic, but they only they only achieve or develop the capacity, I should say, to understand logic when you're actually logic with them and teaching them how to logic, right? So that's why even from when Xander was very small, I always tried to be very like, explain things to you why instead of just do it because I said so. Yeah. Do you feel like that I'm being honest about that?
Yeah.
That I do that?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that comes through. It's important for parents to treat children as equals so they can embody that. I think that's an excellent point, babe. Thank you. Children are our equals. Just because I'm older than Xander does not mean that I'm more important than him, that I'm more valuable than him, that I have any kind of superiority or authority over him. As a parent, I am here to steward his growth into adulthood, but I don't own him just because he's my child. That's slavery. And we are all equals. So we can teach our kids to embody that by treating them that way, treating them like the equals that they are. Do you feel like I treat you like an equal?
Yeah.
You don't have to just say it just for the stream.
No, I do.
All right, good. If you ever disagree, you can please feel free. Tony's asking, Xander, do you think your dad cries too much? Oh, what do you love the most about your dad? Oh, that's a good question. Thanks.
I don't know.
All right, maybe not what do you love the most? What's one thing? You don't know?
A lot. He's loving.
All right, that I'm loving. Thank you. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate the question. Children are sovereign beings too. Absolutely. We are all sovereign beings, right? Absolutely. All right. Well, unless you have any other comments, I think maybe, let's see. And Papa taking ownership for when he is behaving below the line out of integrity and apologizing to his son or daughter in an authentic way. Absolutely. There have been times we play Fortnite together. And as I said in the beginning of the show, I'm not as good at games as I used to be. And I get really frustrated. And this kid will run circles around me. And sometimes it gets irritating. You know, he's like trolling me in the game. And I will lose my temper. And one time I really lost it. And I started screaming at him. And his face dropped. And I just immediately in that moment realized, what are you doing? And I just immediately apologized and I hugged him, and I couldn't believe like I had allowed my temper to get out of hand over a game. I think that was a really powerful learning experience for me in that moment. And I think apologizing to our kids when we lose our temper is extremely important. Even if we're in the right, even if the kids are being disobedient or they're doing something that is not good for them, I think we can approach it in a rational, logical, and compassionate way rather than resort to authoritarianism, which is essentially what screaming is. And especially for those of us in the liberty movement who believe in freedom and sovereignty, and then we're going to violate the sovereignty of our own children. I think it's something that we need to put our attention to and really look at. And I think that we can develop much healthier relationships with our kids when we do that. If we can criticize authoritarianism from the state, I think we need to be looking at ourselves and making sure that we're not carrying any authoritarian habits as well. So thank you, Jamie, for that comment. That's great. It's a great point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless there's any other questions or comments, we appreciate everybody being here and joining in to hear what we had to say. And I think Xander was very excited about his first episode on the Sovereign Lovestream. I think it went really well. What do you think?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, you had a good time?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Well, hopefully we'll be back with another episode. And we'll come up with some cool topics. If you have any topic ideas for another father-son episode, drop them in the comments, and we'll definitely take it into consideration. You want to say goodbye?
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.